everybody, and welcome to Wolverine Spotlight. I'm Donnie Steinberger, and today we turn our spotlight on Olympic bronze medalist Chris Thompson, and Michigan swimmer also. So Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Chris, you've had a storied career now, really. Three-time All-American with the Michigan program, and now an Olympics bronze medal. What has been the toughest thing for you in swimming in order to achieve such great feats?
Pretty much just going in there day in and day out, working hard, pushing yourself to the max in order to accomplish a long-term goal that you set yourself up for at the beginning of each season. And even when you're younger, you say, "Oh, I want to do this. I want to accomplish this in my life. I want to go to the Olympic Games. I want to go to university." You're just setting, just working every day as best you can to accomplish that goal.
And so you tried out for the Olympics. Bring us through the whole process, because not a lot of people, I don't think, know what it means to make the Olympics. It's not just making it; you have to make the team, right?
Yeah.
So you move, and you have to try out. You call something called the preliminary heats. Give us a little bit of background about that process.
What happens is the Olympic trials, the participants are selected by qualifying times. In any of the events that you can qualify in. You go to the Olympic trials meets, which are held every 4 years. At the trials meet, you must place top 2 overall in your individual event in order to go. They have preliminary sessions, and then once from the preliminaries, you can go to semifinals, and then you go from that top 16 to the top 8, which is the final, and then top 2 go. In this 1500 meter freestyle, which is my event, we only have prelims and finals. Top 8 make it to finals, obviously, and then from there you want to be one of the top 2 guys and you make the team. Okay, so you went through in these preliminaries, and you were very disappointed with your time. Your time for the preliminaries was 15:11:21, and which is pretty much a lot longer than you usually swim the 1500 meter, right? Yeah, well, Olympic trials, my main focus was, of course, to make the Olympic team, but I wanted to have a good performance there too, to kind of set myself up for Sydney. And I didn't swim as well as I'd like. It wasn't, for whatever reason, we weren't totally on top of it. I can't complain too much because I made the team, but at the same time, I was disappointed with my performance there. I was only, I think I was 15:09 at the prelims there, or in the finals there, and it was good enough to make the team, but I definitely wanted to do a lot better. And I had made the team though, so I was able to go to training camp the following 2 or 3 weeks and work back up really hard and get ready to go for Sydney.
And after competing, did you think you had made the team?
Oh, I knew I made the team. Top 2 people automatically go. So I touched the wall, looked up, second place, made the team. I mean, I knew that much. So
what was it about your swimming in the preliminaries that was not as consistent as you would have liked?
I just didn't feel real good. My stroke didn't feel real smooth. I didn't feel real strong in the water. It's kind of hard to explain. It's just something you kind of develop over time when you're a swimmer, and everything didn't seem to be really clicking on 100%. But again, I happened to do well enough that I made the team, and so I couldn't complain. So
now you said you had 2 or 3 weeks where you were in training camp. Did that afford you an opportunity to work out your stroke a little bit?
Oh, definitely. Following the trials, we all got to go back to our homes for a couple days, and then we left soon after that to go to Pasadena for a training camp. We were there for about 2 weeks. Some people continued kind of their low-end training just because they're in kind of the sprint events, and myself and a couple others our distance swimmers had to go back to hard work, which is required of a distance swimmer, and we got up there and just pounded it for a couple weeks. And at the same time, the coaching staff there, including my home coach, John Urbanchik, who coaches here at the university, him and a couple other guys looked at my stroke and said, okay, he had some problems at trials, and they kind of worked on some things. They worked on some breathing patterns, some head position with my freestyle, and got everything going, I think, again. So
right. And what did that mean to you to have Coach Urbanchik there with you? He was able to be an assistant coach on the Olympic program. Did that help you as far as working out some of these problems?
Oh, definitely. Having your club, having your coach there that's seen you swim for me 3 years. He'd been around all the time. He knows my stroke. He knows my training routine. He was able to set up my practices, and I was able to listen to him and go under his wing during the whole time. He was able to help lead me through the process.
Right. And this is not the first time he's been an Olympic coach.
No.
84, 88, 92, and 96.
Definitely, yeah. He's had plenty of Olympic experience, national team coaching experience. He's had a whole bunch of Olympians, all of whom have done very, very, very well. And he's just an amazing coach, and I was so happy to get the opportunity that he was able to go.
And what did he say to you? He said, "Chris, what? Your stroke isn't down. So what? Now, what were the words that he used?"
I don't recall exactly. He probably said something. We just got to go out there and just work on everything. We have a couple weeks now. But let's just get everything fixed right so we can go to Sydney and do really well.
Okay, so you make that big move. You take that airplane ride, move across the sea to Sydney, and tell us a little bit about your Olympic experience. You get there, you're with the Olympic team, and what happens?
We checked in. We got off the planes and went in, checked into the Olympic Village. We're there for a day. Then we went off to Brisbane for a week. At Brisbane, we had more stuff going on. We had a training camp in there and stuff. After that week of kind of our last little bit of training, our taper camp, our resting camp, we went back to the village, and a day or two after that, the games started.
Was that a fun thing to be in the Olympic Village with all these different people, international, all across the world? It
was an amazing feeling, being able to see this many people from all over gathered together, in one kind of big melting pot. And it was great seeing so many people getting along, and you couldn't understand necessarily everyone, but a lot of people, they were able to use, hand language and communicate in these different ways. It was just, I think it was just great seeing, so many different people from so many different cultural backgrounds,
right.
All kind of mixing together, and there was no problems that I knew of. There was some theft and stuff going on, but nothing. There's no severe problems or anything. I think everyone was getting along and having
fun. And how about
fun.
the pride factor? You're now representing America, United States of America. What kind of sense of pride did you feel?
I just wanted to go out there, train hard, and do the best I could to represent my country. I was there, I'm a United States citizen. I want to be there and represent myself with pride and honor and dignity and all that. And being able to do that for my country, my home, my university. My family, my friends, my coaches, my teammates, and representing all these people. And I think that, however I come across to the rest of the world is a reflection on all of us. And right. I just wanted to go out there and do the best I could.
And, you published like a journal online, and that was one of the things that you wrote in your journal. You said how important it was that you were representing your family, your friends, your university, and obviously the United States of America. Why was it so important to represent everybody else also?
Well, because this journey to the Olympics isn't just me going in there every day working hard and stuff. There's tons of people that are there for support staff. I've got my parents, I've got the coaches, my teammates. I've got all these people that have all influenced me and assisted me along the way. University of Michigan, John Urbanchek gave me the opportunity to come to Michigan to swim. They extended that to me, and I took it, and that's helped me. That's helped me accomplish things, and so they all deserve credit for this.
Uh-huh. And all right. And as far as now, take us to the opening ceremony. What kind of experience was that? What were you expecting, and what did you see?
It was amazing walking out into the stadium with 150,000 screaming fans with millions and billions of people all over the world watching. It's pretty amazing. You just think, wow, I made it. I'm here. Look at all these, look at all the people. Everyone's dressed up in their, in their country's dress uniforms, whatever they walk out in. Some of the countries have some really cool looking costumes. Right. They got some people from, I think some of the African nations have some really interesting things. Some people from some European nations had some really interesting looking costumes. They all represent their cultures, and it was just another one of the places where you saw people from all over getting together.
And you had the opportunity to meet what you call, quote unquote, famous people, right? You were able to see some of the NBA basketball players,
yes.
Some of the great tennis players. Was that a great experience for you in it also?
Yeah, it was awesome. You pride yourself in being able to, say, wow, I'm here at the Olympics, I'm an Olympian, just like, so-and-so is. And, I met people like, I got my picture taken with Vince Carter, stood up next to Kevin Garnett, saw the Williams sisters, saw Monica Seles, and, Lindsay Davenport, and the women's soccer team,
right.
And just so many different amazing athletes. And it was just saying, wow, I'm here, I'm one of them. We're all here representing the United States. It was a great feeling.
Sounds great. Okay, we have to take a short break, Chris. When we come back, Chris will take us through his Olympic event, and we'll talk a little bit about his Michigan experience right here on Wolverine Spotlight. All right, welcome back to Wolverine Spotlight. I'm Donnie Steinberger. We're sitting down with bronze medal winner Chris Thompson. And Chris, we've talked a lot about getting to the Olympics and some of the Olympic experience you've had. Take us through a little bit of your event. We have some footage. We'll show that, of course. But take us through your event. You started off, and you're competing against some of the Australians, right?
Yes, Australians and quite a few other really good swimmers from all around the world, obviously.
And how tough was that? You knew, so here's your event, and so take us through this event now. You started off pretty slowly, right?
Yeah, my starts have never been real good, and I was really slow there. I don't know if they show it, but yeah, you can see how far back I am already. But I'm never worried about that too much. I know that at the beginning of the race, it's never really off. Like, I can start out behind and stuff. It's a long race, 15 minutes, and I have plenty of time to go after people and try to catch up to them.
And here's the end of your race.
The end was crazy. Yeah, it was so close. You get 7/100ths of a second in a 15-minute race, and it was scary how close it was. But
was that really one of the closest races you've ever participated in?
Well, it was one of the. Well, I've been in many close races, but it was definitely the closest race. It was a close race that. At the Olympics and stuff, it was just going crazy. I still don't like watching it all the time. It makes me too nervous. It's like, wow, it's too close, and just. Now,
going through this race, you had started off slowly. So how were you able to pick up your speed and try to get back into contention?
Well, it's just I'm a distance swimmer. I have a lot of endurance. I don't have a lot of speed. And thus, I just go out there and swim and race, and I just went out there trying to do the best I could against them. And I realized that some guys would be going out fast, some would go out slow also. I just went out, at a smooth tempo, something I feel like I could control real well. I was only behind maybe the first 200 or so. By that point, I caught up to some of the guys that are a little further ahead, except for the Australians. The two Australians were way out there in front. But I was content to let them go. That was no problem with me. I mean, they're both. We've got a double gold medalist, a world record holder swimming there. We've got the defending world champion swimming there. These guys are just really very fast and super amazing swimmers. And I just said, that's fine. Go ahead and go. And I'm just going to hang back here and swim with. I'll race for the bronze. I have no problem with that.
Right. So you weren't intimidated at all by these great swimmers?
No, I'd swum against some of them before. I'd been against them in the Pan Pacific Games in '99 in Sydney, Australia. So that was kind of like a warm-up meet almost for the games, and so it was a great experience. And I'd raced against them there, and also at U.S. Open in '99. Right. So I'd done meets against them in the past, and so I just went in there and said, they're good, but you know what? I'm here too, and I'm just going to go out there and do the best I can. And
so you let those two guys go ahead of you. So now you're competing now for third place.
Yeah.
And the other guys you're battling with some of the other guys swimming. How were you able to sustain that lead towards the end and just grab for that in the last second, I guess, in 0.07, right, 0.7 seconds?
Crazy. It was ridiculous. I just, as the race kept on going on, I kept on thinking I was going to have a hard time. I didn't feel real good in prelims. I didn't feel real good during warm-ups. I was like, I don't know how well this race is going to go. I hope it goes well. Even during the race itself, I was questioning. I kind of had all these self-doubts about whether I'd be able to hold on or not. But I just went out there and raced them and kept things going as I was swimming, and I was like, wow, 100 after 100 would go by, and I'm like, wow, I'm still up here in third. I'm still, in contention. And 1100, the other guy from the United States, Eric Venn, he's very fast, American record holder in the short course meters, 1500 meter freestyle. Caught up to me, and we were tied at 1100. I was like, well, great, it's probably over now, because he always picks it up so much. But after that 1100, he just fell off, and he just died big time on it. And I was like, all right, I'm in third now, and then all of a sudden, out there in lane 2, way across the pool, comes this Russian guy, and I'm like, oh great, I'm still gonna have to race here to finish up this bronze, and every 100 he'd get closer and closer, and he just kept on creeping, and I was like, I just got to get going. Turned at 1400, and he was actually a little bit ahead of me. I didn't know it at the time. I thought we were even. Just sprinted down that 50, going into the last turn. Went up there, just pushed off and said, okay, it's time to get home. One of the things we pride on at Michigan is that we've done more work than everyone. That's what we say, it's like we've done more work. Right. We're from Michigan. We have the background. We have the coaching. We can swim faster than you coming home. We won't get beat. And that popped into my head. I pushed off the wall, and it was like, oh, this is Michigan right here. This is it. I can get home because I have this with me.
So you touch the wall, and what's the first emotion you feel?
I sprinted into that wall and just twisted my body into the wall to extend my arm out to finish, and just first thing I did, obviously look up, look at the scoreboard. It was like 3 right there by my name, and immediately it was just yes. I did it. I pumped my fist. I started going crazy. Took a look over, looked at my time, and it just shocked me. 14:56, 81. I was just, that was one of my major goals going in, was to break 15 minutes, set an American record, and get a medal. And it turns out I was able to do all 3 of them, and
you did it all right.
It was just amazing. Yeah, I swam over, congratulated some people, then looked up at the board again and saw how close Alexei Filipets, the Russian guy, was. 700s behind me. I was like, wow, that's a close race. I didn't realize it. It was just, I was like, wow, it's amazing. It was that close, and I was fortunate that everything happened to turn out right for me. And
did you break down at all? Did you start crying?
No, I was fired up. I was throwing up my fist and jumping around and just like smiling. And people said, I'm not a real outgoing person and stuff. Some people were just saying, wow, we've never seen you that happy in your entire life. And I was definitely really happy for it. And I really wanted to find my parents, but that wasn't happening because the stands have 14,000.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the stands. People. The Australians, they love their swimming, right? They have these 2 guys, gold and silver winner. Are the Australians just crazy about their swimming? Oh
yes, Australians love swimming. It's one of their biggest sports, especially distance swimming. 1500 meter freestyle is their event, is the thing they love. 19 million people in the country, 9 million of them tuned in to watch the race.
And the International Aquatic Center was jam-packed, crazy?
The tickets were ridiculously expensive. My aunt went to buy some tickets to get into finals for the 1500, and this event is pretty much the Super Bowl of Australia. Everyone was watching it. Everyone wanted to be there to see it. She paid $1,000 per ticket, easy.
Wow.
For ticket, and she got down there pretty far. My parents, who had gotten tickets from the Olympic Committee and stuff, because they had an athlete, obviously, were way up high in the stands, and I wish I could have seen them. I wish I could have gone up to them right away after the race, but it wasn't happening. And I knew they were up there. I knew they were all happy to watch. And my brother and sister were also. One of my brothers and my sister were there watching. They're outside in the Olympic Park, watching on the big screen, and they said they were just really happy. And they saw the finish, but they weren't sure who won because they didn't announce it. Mm-hmm. If they did, they didn't hear, because this is, the Australians had gone 1-2, so the place was just, everyone was going nuts and yelling and shouting, and it was just loud.
Okay, when you think back about this experience now, and maybe even now in 4 years and 10 years, and maybe in 50 years, what do you think is the one moment that you're going to replay in your mind continuously?
There's so many different things. I remember standing up there before the race, just kind of walking out for the final. I looked up in the stands, and my mom had told me, no matter what, no matter how you're feeling, whatever, just go out there, and smile before your race, and that's my mom's way of trying to keep me calm or something, I don't know. But I just went out there. I remember seeing all the people saying, this is it, here I am at the Olympic Games, try to grab hold of this moment because you might not get another shot. And I just got up there, got behind the blocks, made myself smile, and said, okay, it's time to go out there and race, and just, let's see if we can get the job done. Obviously touching the wall and looking up, seeing that 3 there, that's burned in there too, I think. Just being, all I remember is I was just super excited, and I think my heart rate was super, it was just through the roof, and I was just going crazy.
Now, another big thing this year was the swimsuits that you guys were wearing. Now, they're called the fast skin swimsuits, and almost everybody was wearing them. Tell us a little bit about these swimsuits, why you chose to use them, and what you think they do for you.
It's a new technology thing that they've been working on. A way to improve in the sport is always to go the next step. Bring the next new wave of technology, whatever. And these suits are supposed to mimic a shark skin, which what it does, I think it channels water away from your body or from the suit material, and supposedly it makes you swim faster. I've tried it on earlier in the year, tried it out to see if I wanted to wear it, and it worked really well for me, I think. And I don't know if it's psychological or if it actually does aid in performance or if it does add some buoyancy or if it makes you faster or whatever, but everyone seemed to think that it was helping out, and everyone seemed to be swimming really well with it. So, I was going to jump on the bandwagon. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm not going to wear the suit and end up, missing out on swimming fast or something because everyone else has one and I don't. So I said, hey, I might as well try it on and see how it works. I just wore the leg version, waist to ankle. I didn't want to have any body restriction up my upper body, and also I figured you'd probably get a little hot in a 15-minute race with it, but everything worked out fine and it went very well. I think it's a very good suit.
All right, let's move from your Olympic experience to some of the experiences you've had at Michigan. What kind of, now coming in from this Olympic bronze medalist, Chris Thompson's coming back to the Michigan program, did you feel a tremendous amount of pressure now from your teammates, from your coaches, to just swim unbelievably now in some of the heats that you compete in?
My coaches and everyone will agree with me on this one that I put way too much pressure on myself. I don't necessarily worry as much as the coaches and my teammates pushing me out. It's more of myself that's pushing myself. And they often have to kind of calm me down a little bit. The coaches are there, hey, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Don't worry about it. Usually it's the other way around. But I've always had some kind of deep feeling of, it's my responsibility to do things, get stuff done. And I just have to go out there and learn to kind of deal with that. But I think that's what's helped me be successful over the years. Coming into the program, I just came back and said, okay, I have, a lot of people come off the Olympics on a super high note. They're saying, oh, I'm an Olympian, and I have to go back to daily life and do all this normal stuff again. And I just took it as a challenge for me because it was my senior year. It's my last chance to represent Michigan before I just go off and am, just kind of a U.S. club swimmer and go back, try to make a 2004 team.
So you never had such a feeling like, okay, I want a bronze medal in the Olympics. Now, what do I don't you have the feeling that what do you have to accomplish still?
Definitely not. I had still some major college goals that I wanted to accomplish, and I want to accomplish still. My freshman, sophomore, junior year, all 3 years, I was second and third at the NCAA's in my two best events. Each year I got second, and each year I got third in the shorter distance one. And it was like, I want to get up here and get a win finally. I'd like to come out of here with an NCAA championship, and kind of get myself a ring is kind of what we always say. And I really want to accomplish that. That's something that I have wanted to do since before I was a freshman here. That was one of my goals going into college. I had some goals written up. Be part of a Big Ten championship team. Qualify for the Olympic team was my main one, obviously. Get a good education, which you can get at Michigan. Be an NCAA champion, represent my home state of Oregon, my hometown of Roseburg. Do very well out there, and I'd accomplished many of those goals, but there was still some left to go, and obviously that NCAA championship is the big one. So it was no problem for me to get back in training right away for my senior year, just to get ready for our March NCAA meet.
Do you think that swimmers and other teams are keying in on you, Chris Thompson, the bronze medal winner?
Definitely. I know there's definitely people out there that that want to beat me and take me down and say, hey, but you always are. I mean, the top guy is always the one that's being.
Do you like being in that position?
Well, it's nice to be here to be able to say, yeah, I'm number one, I'm here. But at the same time, that everyone else is gunning for you, and a lot of people become number one. They say, okay, I'm the best, and they don't worry about it. But I continue to worry. I'm like, okay, I'm number one, but I could just as easily be beaten by somebody, and I gotta keep training hard. I gotta keep working hard. Gotta keep focused. Otherwise, someone will come up and snatch it away from me, and I need to just, keep working hard this year and go out there and hopefully win that NCAA ring.
All right. So tell us a little bit about this season so far for the Michigan program. How have you guys been doing? What's been some of the strengths and what's been some of the weaknesses?
We've had some solid meets so far. I think everyone's kind of coming together really well. We've dealt with some team problems, some team issues. That's all kind of behind us now. I think every team, every sport or whatever has problems, and I think it's just kind of just one of the natural things that we did. We dealt with that, and now we're kind of all ready to go now. Hopefully we can keep some people healthy. We just had an injury in our team that's going to take away some big points at Big Tens, but we're going to have to deal with that. We're going to have some people step up.
And you continue to impress, right? You've done really well. You most recently you were in the Texas Invite, right?
Yeah.
And you first place, right?
Not that mean, no.
Oh,
but no, I went out there and I had some really good in-season times. Actually, my mile, my 1650, it's the equivalent, 1650 yards, equivalent of 1,500 meters, wasn't actually real good for me, but just wasn't feeling up to it, I guess,
right.
And just had a bad off race. But I had some very strong times in season. Our team itself had some very strong swims for in season, and I think the future's looking really good. We have some tough meets coming off of training camp in January against Stanford and Cal. Both of those meets should be really fast. Hopefully we can snatch one win out of those two. If not, we have some Big Ten competition that we'll be able to go against before the Big Ten championships in February.
And how about the team chemistry? You said you had a few problems. What were some of those problems?
It's nothing. It's
Team
stuff that
issues.
we dealt
Yeah.
with. But I mean, you know, you deal with it and you move on, and we're doing just fine with that now.
You guys all get along now?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. It's never been anything like that. We've always gone along. We're really strong. We've got some good leadership. You know, the kind of all the seniors are there working and doing stuff to kind of help, you know, teach the younger guys how to get along and do things. And you know, everything's great, and I really appreciate you know what we're here for and what we're representing.
All right, Chris, we have to take another break. When we come back, we'll have more. Oh, we're done. I'm sorry, Chris. Things have been going so quickly here, losing track of time. But Chris, thanks so much for joining us. If you want to email us at wolv.spotlight@umish.edu. And we look for great things from you, Chris, in the Michigan program, and we'll see if we can get you in the Olympics again for a bigger goal. Thanks. Oh, and UMTV special, USA versus Michigan, Tuesday, December 12th. Look for that on UMTV. And we wish everybody happy holidays from all of us here at WOLV, my producer, Bess Powers. I'm Donnie Steinberger. Have a good night.